What is up, everybody? I'm No Lex Given, and today we are going to take a look at a strategy that, to be totally honest, I thought was just a meme. Thought I was just messing around, trying to have some fun, playing Storybook Brawl, but what I stumbled into wound up being absurdly powerful, and that is, of course, making an additional Princess White with Evil Twin on Zippy the Zombie. I had no clue how strong this one was gonna be. I'm super excited to show this to you guys and potentially try this out again in the future to see if it'll have just as good as results as this game. Speaking of dwarves, we have a tiny filled early game by seeing a third tiny, though not super interested in a third one. I just pick up these first tinies so that way we can trade with things and get that 3.2 Evil Twin on Zippy the Zombie kind of locked in, getting some early kills here. I did consider locking onto the baby root, and then we could have even potentially used the forbidden fruit to roll, because I didn't like picking up the tiny or the polywoggle on that turn. But I'm happy enough to pick up a pair of Lonely Princes. It's not quite going to get those kills that I'm looking for on these early combats, but it'll be strong enough next turn. You're pretty incentivized to flip your Lonely Princes on 3.0 as Zippy, because you're going to wind up picking up some Royals and things, just so that you can have some good level 3 characters. And Brave Princess is one of the best among those. That'll flip both of our frogs over and potentially build to a tier 3 treasure down the line. And after picking up the Brave Princess, which I would have done regardless, but that's when I noticed that we've got a Beauty's Influence in the shop. And Beauty's Influence is just such a powerful card on Zippy the Zombie. Getting able to turn an evil thing good just opens up a lot of different possibilities. It means that if you upgrade that thing, you can make a bunch of copies of it, or just in the case of Princess White, you can find a second copy of a card that you normally wouldn't have access to a second copy of. So seems like it could be a cool one to try out, and that's definitely a big part of this strategy. Like, you do have to find that Beauty's Influence early on to make this work. I don't know if I would have picked up the white without the Beauty's Influence, but the fact that we got to see both of them in the shop together certainly helped. And then from here, I don't know, there's like, I could just try to pick up the Blind Mouse, though I wind up going for the Crafty. It's not going to help because we don't have our second white yet, so I could have held off on that Crafty or locked onto it or something, but ultimately I think that this is fine, just picking up the Crafty for this turn. And then next turn, assuming we are able to kill 5 of our opponent's characters, we'll grab that Evil Twin, and then we can just start buying a bunch of dwarves and trying to flip those over and grab some tier 3 treasures and see where we can take the game from there. And of course, all of our dwarves are going to be getting +2/+2 from here on out, assuming of course that we are able to activate this Evil Twin this turn, and looks like we will be able to. We clean up my opponent's board there. So now we get to make another copy of Princess White, and from here I'm just going to buy as many dwarves as we can. We'll triple this tiny. I'm not super interested in any of these treasures here, though. The thing is, like, you could take Lock Chest, and then we're looking for Hat Ball and stuff with the tier 3 treasures from Princess White as well. But the kicker there is you're just going to see so many treasures when you're playing Zippy the Zombie that you really don't have to settle for bad ones. I will take a spinning wheel, though. Some econ is nice. Now we've got lucky and we've got the spinning wheel, so we really have the econ to put into these Princess Whites and buy some more dwarves and grab some more treasures off of that. Speaking of tier 3 treasures, it doesn't look like our Brave Princess is going to be able to get it done. We are playing up against a Geppetto this turn, so maybe it can get a sleigh. Then we can backline it and then potentially get one more sleigh in the future, but not looking good for the Brave Princess after it gets attacked into there. So not super good for us. We will get the extra econ off of the Lucky, but we are going to wind up taking some damage on this combat and not cracking my opponent's prized pig either. So a little bit awkward. We could take the Gingerbread Knights here and grab a tier 4 treasure, though I think that's just a bunch of gold to spend on things that aren't dwarves. And we're at 28 health, so they're not particularly strong. The dwarves are stronger right now, so I'll just wind up rolling. We find a Fanny, which is actually a pretty big power spike. I haven't talked too much about Fanny since she has come out, but it's pretty big. It's a bunch of stats here. It's plus 12 plus 12 is what I meant to say of stats on the board when you count that she's 4/4 and then giving 4/4 to 2 of your characters. And of course, it's a little bit more than that when she's getting those bonus stats from the Princess Whites as well. So pretty strong board. I am going to wind up playing Brave Princess just for one more turn, but I do think that this is potentially enough to win a Reckless Wager. We'll see how it goes. Tiny able to trade with one of my opponent's larger characters, and then these crafties are quite large to lock up the front line here, and that is going to be enough to get the win. So we'll get 3 bonus gold, and we'll use that to try to buy some dwarves. I don't mind up picking up an Easter egg as well. We can make a few extra copies of Humpty Dumpty with our evil twins potentially down the line. That could be a cool avenue to play this, but for right now, we are just gonna try to pick up some dwarves, and we're gonna get our first Princess White treasure here. And I can't pass up a crystal ball. That's just too sweet, especially while you are playing with Zippy. And then we'll grab 2 more tier 3 treasures. That's going to be the hat to go along with the ball, and a deep stone mine. Why not? To go along with all of these dwarves. So now we are super powerful, and we've got hat ball. And all of this just kind of came together in one turn here, so pretty fabulous stuff. Probably should have picked up the Cindy. I'm going to make right on that by picking that up now, and then just going to wind up playing Princess White. And honestly, I would have potentially considered making another Princess White and like making more dwarves or doing something otherwise interesting down the line, but I'm curious how often this Princess White strategy is just going to play out this way, in that it's just a cheap way to grab a hat and a ball and then transition out of dwarves and into mages. And we're gonna drift even further into mages by picking up a big book of spells this turn, and now I definitely want to pick up this spell weaver and try to cast as many spells on it as we possibly can. I'll use Shard of the Ice Queen to flip over the Frog Prince. We're doing fine right now, so we can get a little bit silly maybe with this Kitty Cup Purse, and then I'll cast a few more spells. That's going to flip over Cinderella, but our spells are already really fantastic here, so not really, or our treasures rather are already fantastic, so not going to mess around with those too much. I'm just looking for Beauty's Influence. Once we find a Beauty's Influence, then we can start to make a bunch of copies of Spellweaver and potentially get some things going there. But for right now, we are just going to play 2 massive dwarves plus a massive Spellweaver, and we even get lucky enough that our Kitty Cup Purse is going to slay there. So that works out really nicely. That'll give us some extra cash too. Just continue to cast spells for our next few turns here, and we'll even have another evil twin to make use of, so we'll have to find somewhere to put these. We can make some copies of this Gingerbread Knight, or we could just save them. We can save the evil twins and maybe do something fun with them in the future. The end of this Gingerbread Knight instead. That seems like a good plan. I'm going to wind up using True Love's Kiss on Lucky and getting a Feasting Dragon. That seems like a really good character to start trying to slay with. We did some nice stuff with Feasting Dragon yesterday, but tier 5 upgraded character seems even sweeter. So I'll keep it going, and then one more time we're going to True Love's Kiss that into an upgraded good boy on our 5.1 turn here. Pretty crazy stuff. And honestly, I missed a pretty big opportunity here. It winds up working out pretty nicely because I get to grab a treasure map and then I pick up Lancelot, which will immediately activate thanks to this upgraded good boy. So it worked out. This was a crazy turn. I did so much. I'm not going to say that I played it wrong, but I also had the opportunity there to evil twin a good boy and then Beauty's Influence that. and just start churning out a bunch of good boys. But we'll potentially take some direction here from our tier 7 treasure pickup. And it's probably got to be Mirror Mirror. Excalibur's fun, Round Table's cool with mages as well sometimes, but Mirror Mirror with an upgraded good boy, and now we can just take all of these Hapall stats and funnel them onto the good boy. It's going to be pretty powerful. I do wind up taking another Spellweaver, and I don't take a Wizard's Familiar, because at that point I realize, wait a minute, no, I should be trying to make good boy work now that we have a Mirror Mirror. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to just throw all of these stats onto good boy, and then I'm going to make a good copy of Spellweaver for now. That's 2 wasted Beauty's Influence, and I'll kind of be wishing that I had some more Beauty's Influence later on, but for right now we'll just have a super powered good boy that should help us win all of these combats and win this Reckless Wager going into 6.0. I do debate putting the Lancelot in the front line, and that way maybe the Lancelot can die, Mirror Mirror, and then good boy dies, pumps up the Lancelot again. Probably wouldn't have worked out, so not a huge deal. I'm just going to backline all of my good characters. I only have 3 other good characters, and that way we'll be making the most out of this good boy, and our frontline characters can just get Mirror Mirror despite not really being super relevant that they are resummoning, and our backline can clean it up, take out this Rumpelstiltskin, and allow us to move onto 6.0 with a little bit of bonus gold as well. And again, just really looking to cast as many spells as possible onto this good boy. But Bearstain, also really, really cool with Mirror Mirror in that it'll allow good boy to summon back with a ton of additional stats. And you could consider the Echo Wood there, but I don't think that it is worth the 6 gold as much as the good boy is. You'll see I moved the good boy over here. I am planning on eventually using Evil Twin on this good boy, and we'll do it now with a free spot in this shop, and then just cast some more spells. Really do want to find a Beauty's Influence at some point. I'll roll for it here. I don't find it. We find Hermes Magic Beans, which is still nice in its own capacity. That'll allow our evil good boy to get in, attack, resummon, and then pump itself and the other good boy. That good boy gets up to almost 50 in stats, which means it gets to be absolutely huge, almost freezes my game with how huge it is. 100 power good boy resummoning off the Mirror Mirror. Really, really insane stuff. We are able to take out a Black Prism Wonder Waddle here. And yeah, ultimately just looking really quite powerful. I go for a Knighthood on the Evil Boy, the main reason being that now it will only take 1 Beauty's Influence to make it into a good boy. So otherwise, if you're combining 3 evil good boys, it makes it very, very difficult to allow that to turn good again. But we'll see. We'll see if we're able to find any of those. I will then cast another Hermes Magic Beans to finish off the turn. And yeah, just a ton of stats on this one. 2 upgraded good boys plus a Bearstain, which is protected by a Soul Tack, and a Mirror Mirror. So really, really insane stats on this one. I'm not even playing a full board of good characters yet. Maybe I'll find another good character at some point, though I don't really need to. I could just keep adding some good boys to this board as well, and I think that that would also be pretty good. Mirror Mirror being the key card here that is kind of like, it's an interesting card in that it removes the evil status from the good boys on the resummon. So that is a cheeky little way to get around the otherwise drawback of Zippy the Zombie of turning your good boys evil. And now we can even cast Witch's Brew on our good boys. So that seems sweet. And when we find another Knighthood, I'm going to go for another Evil Twin. And that way we can grab another upgraded good boy. I'll throw out this Drink Me Potion, hoping to find a Beauty's Influence, though we're not quite going to get there. And then I'll go for a Mix-a-Whizzle, then a True Love's Kiss on the Cinderella, or not the Cinderella, on the Princess White, before casting a few more spells onto our goodest of good boys. And we can keep the Lancelot in the front row just in case maybe it's able to do some fun mirror things, but not going to be the case. And then we'll cast another Hermes Magic Beans to finish off the turn. Getting really lucky with finding all of those magic beans as well. But yeah, this one's definitely working out nicely for us. The first good boy will get to pump up. We're really just pumping up that evil good boy, but it's going to be enough stats even so. It winds up getting over to like 100 when it eventually winds up dying. And yeah, that's more than enough stats. Not really going to be able to do the whole Lancelot tricky thing. It's kind of a pipe dream. It's a little bit hard to have all of those things order in the way that you want them, and then good boy resummons with 200 stats. So yeah, just a really powerful game. Right here is when I realized that like maybe I have enough evil good boys, and so I might want to start using my evil twin on Bearstain. That could be kind of cool, just because like playing even more evil good boys isn't going to do that much for us. Wind up going for a Mix-a-Whizzle. We find a Boomhilda. That's kind of a cool character to give us a bunch of additional stats on these good boys. And then yeah, you can see me kind of debating what I want to evil twin. And then this shop also has a Hercules, which could be really cool, and grab us some tier 6 treasures, which work nicely with the good boys as well. There's just a lot of tier 6 treasures that work really good with good boys. Even though there's not too much time left in the game, I think we could still potentially make some fun stuff happen with it. We're going to have a bunch of stats here, and our characters die in a really nice order. It's nice when the two evil boys die first, and that way they get to pump up each other a little bit, and that just gives us absolutely a massive amount of stats on this one. So we're on to the finals now, and I'm still going to wind up go ahead and picking up a Hercules. I then cast an evil twin, and I figure like Phoenix Feather, this good boy, is our biggest character, so it could be cool to just resummon that as well. And I toss the hat to pick that up. Tossing the hat does make us a little bit less likely to find Beauty's influence, because it means that we are not going to be able to just churn through as many spells. We can churn through the Shard of the Ice Queen here, and that turns Doom Breath back into a Boomhilda, which is pretty cool. Then I do wind up picking up Hercules at the end of this turn. That confused me for a second, not gonna lie, because I was like, I think I'd pick up Hercules this turn, and then I'll just finish things off with a free roll. Maybe I didn't need the Hercules, but once you toss the hat, I don't know. It's fine. This is fine. We're having fun. And yeah, looking pretty powerful in the process. Again, we are going to get both of our evil boys die before our the respective good boys die, so we are going to have a ton of stats on this one. We do get our Hercules activated, though we don't get it activated again. It was definitely possible. And then good boy resummons from the Phoenix Feather, and we hit my opponent for 17 down to 3. So the game's almost over. There's probably not a huge reason to do anything crazy, and then I wind up just skipping. Like, Pandora's Box isn't going to do anything for us. We're definitely winning this turn. Crystal Ball could potentially help us find a Beauty's influence, which would actually be pretty big. So I'm not going to worry about that. I do think another Bearstain could be good to add to this board, but my opponent does not. My opponent's had enough. We were 100% to win the previous combat, and there was no way they were getting in between this board. It was pretty tough to scam too. 3 upgraded good boys with a whole bunch of stats. So really powerful stuff. And all of this, despite getting a little bit lucky, came out of a meme. And just wound up being a really impressive game. Like I said, it's kind of a tricky strategy to pull off, because I don't know if it's good enough that I would want to force it. But if you see a Princess White and a Beauty's influence in one of your shops, and you're playing Zippy the Zombie, give it a try, because it could turn out to be absolutely fantastic. That is going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm No Lex Given. Peace.